You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Lucas Dostal versus the Edmonton Oilers. I haven't seen a mismatch this bad since Waz in the crap stable. Let's get into it with the lead. I believe they call that playing the hits.
They're all coming back at this time of year.
Welcome into Oilers Nation Every Day. We are, as always, presented by Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We are also, as always, coming to you from the Sports Closet studio. From jerseys to hats to the legendary foam finger, you'll find it all and more at the Sports Closet. Live on the Oilers Nation YouTube, where I see people are popping in there following let's just call it what it is, a pretty disappointing loss for the Edmonton Oilers to the Anaheim Ducks. And Liam, listen, as much as I spent yesterday talking about how I don't care about the results, and as much as I just wrote an article for OilersNation.com about how nothing matters in these final 5 games, you sit there last night, they're down 3-1, and they say on the broadcast the LA Kings have just lost to the Seattle Kraken. And then you go look at the NHL standings page and you go, well, we're 4 points back. If you can beat the Anaheim Ducks, you're 2 points back. You have a head-to-head matchup, which means you could be tied with them if you win that. Oh, shit. The Oilers maybe dropped the ball losing that hockey game last night.
Yeah, but I don't think it was through lack of effort. I mean, you put 49 shots on goal. They had some chances. What they do?
Deserved to win meter was 93%.
Yeah, hit the post twice. Like, fortunately, it's one of those games where their goalie was making some high-quality saves, and the Oilers gave up too many high-quality chances defensively whilst pushing for the lead in the game. I'm not happy they lost, obviously, but I can't sit here and be that disappointed about it.
Yeah, I'll disagree with you a little bit, just because the out-of-town scoreboard broke your way. If the Kings would have won, I would have sat there and been like, this was inconsequential, you're hooped anyways. But, there was an opportunity there to get yourself back into a position. The hockey gods gave you a gift in a bad team in Seattle, beating a team like LA. I believe that game was in LA as well. So, the Kings never lose in regulation at Crypto, let alone lose straight up at Crypto. I don't know. I think there's reason to be disappointed in a game where you pummel 47 shots on net, and yes, Dostal made some great saves. I still think you can sit here. Let's go. What was the power play last night? 0 for 6. Okay, it's a power play without McDavid and Draisaitl. There is still Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Adam Henrique and Evan Bouchard and these guys who know how to play on power plays before, and we can sit there and blame the officiating. I get what you're saying. I see the comment from the Iron Duke. You got 6 power plays. Yeah. If you would have had 2 power plays, I would have been like, we got beef with the officials. And the officiating was still garbage, but I can sit here and say the officiating was garbage and also say the officiating didn't cost them the game because they had 6 power plays and they went 0 for 6 and they lost a 1-goal game where they had 40-some shots on goal.
Yeah, I think, too, with the power play number, and I understand, Nuge and Bush are still there. Hyman been very quiet the last few games, too. I'd like to see him step up a little bit, but there was some tweets out there last night saying how weak the Ducks penalty kill is. I'm sorry, if you put out that power play for 82 games a season as well, I'm sure that would be a bottom 5, bottom 10 power play in the NHL. That's not that good out there. They did hit the post on one of them. Was Arvidsson, I think, ripped one out. Literally took the paint with him on that shot.
And they did hit a post right at the end of the game as well at the buzzer.
That's the thing. I can't be that upset. I understand the outside score, but when you're playing the game, I guess you're not seeing the score as well. I think it would have been even more disappointing if LA, for example, lost earlier in the day than you come into that game knowing the result and then lose too. But it's what it is. Anaheim have had the Oilers number this season. They've played him really, really well, and credit to them. Move on to St. Louis now, back on home ice. Draisaitl and McDavid both skated yesterday.
Yep.
Hey, if I'm putting a prediction out there, which you guys know I like to do for lineups, I think there's probably a good chance maybe at least one of them could return tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. We'll maybe get some more from that later on in the show or later on today. I did have someone who tweeted me yesterday, and they got me into a little bit of a tizzy here. Ooh. Money Puck still has the Oilers at 99.7% to make the playoffs. Okay? But I was sitting there, and someone tweeted me and was like, look at the standings, man. The Flames are only 6 points back at the Oilers with 5 games to go.
Yeah.
And I got a little bit worried. Because I was like, oh, God, Edmonton's got St. Louis. The way they're playing right now, you're not beating St. Louis. I know they lost last night, but they got Winnipeg. Winnipeg just beat St. Louis, so they're clearly a problem. LA just beat us 3-0. And I was like, man, what if the Flames were to go on a run? What if the Flames were to win all 5 of their games? They'd get to 97 points. At that point, if you're the Oilers, you would need to win 2 of your final 5, 2 and 3 in your last 5 games. And then I remembered they play the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, I've not
Twice.
even considered the fact that the Oilers could miss the playoffs because I don't think it's anything to worry about.
I just had a little bit of like the panic paranoia of like the game just ended. You blew that game to the Anaheim Ducks. That was 2 points. We kind of looked at this schedule and we're like, that's an auto win for the Oilers. And you dropped the ball on it. But again, you go back, you do the math. If anyone else had that moment of panic, if Calgary were to win all of their games in regulation, they would be at 97 points. All the Oilers would have to do if the Flames go 5-0 is beat the Sharks twice in regulation, actually just once in regulation. And then the other time could be an overtime or a shootout, and the Oilers would be fine. So again, 5 games left in the season. Even if the Flames play perfect hockey and win all 5 of their games in regulation, you are going to be fine as long as you beat the Sharks. The other interesting angle of it is the Flames and Wild still play each other one more time.
Oh, nice.
Which means if the Flames get to 97, the most that the Wild could get to is 3 wins. That's also 97. So in that sense, even if Minnesota plays perfectly and only loses to the Flames and Calgary plays perfectly and beats the Wild, you're still fine as long as you win 2 games against the San Jose Sharks. So no need to worry.
If you lose to the San Jose Sharks, then Calgary can have our playoff spot.
Yeah, that's probably a decent point too.
That's the thing. Like these last 2 games as well, like LA wasn't exactly a thriller of a Saturday afternoon event, was it? But the Oilers still could have won that game, and they probably should have won last night. So you go on a road trip, you beat Vegas, you beat San Jose, I guess, for whatever that's worth. Come back, like, a disappointing way to end it, but I think overall, like, I'm not worried about what they're going to. I think they'll beat St. Louis tomorrow.
They could. Absolutely could. Calgary also, by the way, gets Vegas and LA and Anaheim in those games on top of a matchup with San Jose. So, again, they should beat San Jose. They probably beat Anaheim too. But those 3 games there, like for them to sweep the Kings, Golden Knights, and Wild, and then the Wild, I actually think have a pretty tough schedule as well in their final run of games. Where's Minnesota on this list? Oh, no, never mind. They have the easiest schedule in the league. San Jose, Anaheim, Calgary, Vancouver. So
there you go. Yeah. So that locks everything in. I think
should be fine.
I think the teams are all set now.
Yeah.
Even in the East, they're pretty much all locked in, right?
Well, let's get to that a little bit later.
Okay.
We can talk about the East in a bit. I want to talk a bit more about that hockey game last night. Let's get to our scoring summary for Charm Diamond Centers. You can find them online at charmdiamondcenters.com. You can also get a custom ring built and delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program. I was at Charm Diamonds last week.
You were. I
was getting Amber. Did I say it on the show?
No, just privately.
Privately. I was getting Amber her a birthday present.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to the lady who's working there, and she was like, can I interest you? She was like, if you want to put this purchase on payments, you can get the Charm Diamond Flexity card. I said, oh, I know all about the Charm Diamond Flexity card. And she was like, okay, weird. And then she was like, by the way, if you get like the insurance policy on this, it's available at any of our stores or our partner stores. I said, yes, 87 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. And then our friend Bree was working, who's the one who helped us when we went in. And she laughed and she was like, he does the ad reads. Very funny. As I'm doing that, a gentleman walking by the mall pops in and is like, Tyler, I was just texting my friend about your show today. And then I got a picture with him. Needless to say, the one Charm Diamond employee, very confused about everything that happened in that 5 minutes.
Was it Lance?
No, it was not Lance who popped in. Getting mileage out of that sponsorship. Absolutely, we live the brand. Anyways, scoring summary for last night. The Oilers strike first. Adam Henrique's 11th of the season off a rocket from Jake Wallman that I believe hit Adam Henrique in the foot.
Yeah, right off the toe.
This was also just a mad scramble. And it applies to this one. Good Lord, the Anaheim Ducks are terrible with the puck.
Holy moly. Multiple times they just failed to clear the puck out of their own zone. It was... I haven't seen an NHL team do that for a while.
Also, this is a tremendous reminder that the giveaway takeaway stat on NHL.com is terribly flawed. The Ducks were only... NHL.com says the Oilers gave away more pucks than the Ducks last night. That is absolutely not true.
Yeah, like a lot of those will be stupid things like dumping in for a change. Like,
not a giveaway.
Those numbers are so hard to read. But good play by the Oilers here, though. Like, cause a bit of chaos in front and... get Dostal scrambling. Look how far out of his net he is there. And then, just getting a puck on net. And Henrique, toes in the right place. That's why you don't trim your toenails, folks.
Yes, sure. 1-0 heading into the intermission. The Oilers again play really, really good in the first. Outshoot the Ducks 14-6. Second period, though, the Ducks tie it up. Cutter Gauthier gets his first of 2 on the game. I have a problem with the people reacting to this goal because this got, pinned on Evan Bouchard, and I agree he could have made a better play with this puck, but everything else that went on here was inexcusable from the Oilers, and the other 5 players, and I'm saying 5 players on the ice, absolutely screwed Evan Bouchard on this goal.
I also think too, like, look where he clears the puck from. Like, if he, what do you want him to do? Like, he just gets anything on it to get it out of that dangerous area and just hopes that he can kind of get out of the zone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just a reactionary play. Like, I mean, not a great rebound from Rodrigue. I'm
Well,
not
no.
going to criticize him like it's his first game, but yeah, it's hard to just be like, Evan Bouchard, how could you do this to us? You know, like, who's that? Pod calls in? Like, maybe get more to the middle of the ice?
So I want to run it back again from the start because I want to pause it on a few moments here. But as this play comes up the ice, comes into the zone, I want you to watch Kapanen here in the center of your screen. He doesn't even take a hard stride at any point. And who is that on the far side? 46.
Maximum.
Max Jones. As this goes again, just keep your eye on Max Jones, top of your screen. He floats in, adjusts his shin pad, stands still for 2, 3. He basically stands still for 4 seconds. So again, this play into the zone is whatever, should be relatively harmless. If Podkolzin can make a play on his guy, this isn't a conversation. Okay, that's one thing. If Kapanen is a little bit more alert about who his guy is, this shot doesn't happen. If Olivier Rodrigue either one holds onto the puck or actually kicks it into the corner, which you are trained to do, then Evan Bouchard doesn't need to scramble to make a play because he has 2 guys on him. He has nowhere to go with that puck except for just to be basically a fire extinguisher and go, I need to get this away from trouble.
Yeah.
And then when he finally does get it away from trouble, Max Jones is standing still, and the other 2 forwards are absolutely nowhere to be seen, also standing still.
Yeah, someone put in the chat there, sorry, he scrolled by already. It's like, throw that puck to the corner. It's textbook. It's like, what, into the 2 guys right in front of him? Like,
So-
he has no time to do anything. but
Pause
just
it right when
react to swinging at the
Bouchard's
puck.
going to whack the puck. How can he get that into the corner with 2 guys converging on him? He would have to grab it, stop, spin, and knock it into the corner. His momentum's carrying it one way. And you know why his momentum's carrying him that way? Because Bouchard's in the corner already, which is where the puck should have been kicked by Rodrigue.
It's just a bad play, and Bouchard is the least of my problems. I mean, obviously, he's the one who's going to get credit for the giveaway, but I don't know.
When in doubt, glassing out. How could he go glassing out? He is scrambling to cover for 4 other mistakes that were made on the ice.
Yeah, it's hard to blame.
I'd
Bouchard
argue
on this
here, and once again, just playing devil's advocate, this happens in a split-second decision, but you just have that on your forehand. You could throw that back in the corner where the ref is. That's what everyone was saying last night. And I do agree with that. That is a play that's available.
I think that is a very, very difficult play to make. Also,
it happens
he
in a
has
second.
all 3 of his forwards at the top of the zone. The Oilers have the advantage up there. They just don't move their feet or pick a guy up. It's crazy. Lazy play by that Oilers forward line.
Yeah, bad one. But they oh no, they did not respond.
I was going to say,
That
we
was
got
one.
other Bouch goals. We can.
Okay, so then this next one here, it's Gauthier's second of the game, which was just 5 minutes later. On this one, I didn't love the Oilers' back pressure, but no, Evan Bouchard has to make a better play on this one. His gap control, which is usually something he's very, very good at, was terrible, and his guy gets past him and he scores. This one, yes, absolutely blaming Evan Bouchard on. That is on Bouch. That is a defenseman's job. You can sit there and talk about the back pressure from the Oilers. You can talk about a whole bunch of things, but no, Evan Bouchard got caught flat-footed. That one is on him. I, again, can watch a game and separate my hatred or love from players to the moment. I feel like the first goal was everyone who doesn't like Evan Bouchard just seeing the turnover, blinders, everything else ignored. That was Evan Bouchard's fault. He gets an assist on the goal. This one, you can absolutely blame Bouchard. That's a good player in Cutter Gauthier, but if you're Evan Bouchard, you are, again, an elite defenseman off the rush. You need to play that one a lot better. So, again, he got walked. Yes. Evan Bouchard to blame on the second goal. Evan Bouchard to blame on the first goal? No. That is on partially Bouchard, sure, because he could have been better at bailing out his teammates. But the point is he was making a play to bail out his teammates. So it's... Sorry,
I was going to say, I think, too, on this one, he does such a good job of giving Gauthier basically one option, but to go down the boards with like where his stick is like, he should anticipate that he's going to have to pivot pretty quick here and like continue to keep him outside and just a step behind. I think what made it worse even was too is like later on in the game, the same thing happened. Like with Troy Terry, he didn't learn from his mistake at all. Luckily, that one didn't go in the net. But yeah, it's not a great move by Mr. Evan Bouchard.
Yeah. So it's 2-1. And listen, I know people in the chat are going to say, like, defending Bouchard on that. I am telling you, you need to have a bigger view of the game. You cannot sit there and just be like, puck up the middle. Oh, that's that guy's fault. The game happens very, very quickly, and he was put in a horrendous spot. Like, whatever. I'm going to move on. We'll get Dubnyk's take on this. Someone asked if I'm still giving Bouchard 8x8. Yeah, absolutely. 8x8's a bargain. Give him 8x9. We're not doing that conversation today, though. Third period, the Oilers were really starting to push early on. They had that 4-minute power play. Didn't make anything of it. They got a couple of looks, but Mason McTavish off of just a horrible play by Kasperi Kapanen here. Again, gets to the top of the zone. This is part of the problem with, and what drives me nuts with the Kapanens, Podkolzins, and Janmarks. They get the puck in decent spots, and it's almost like they've never had the puck on their stick in the slot a day in their life. And again, the game is very easy for me when I sit here and watch the replay 100 times and break this down. But like, get that puck on net. Where are you even trying to take it? Oilers make Olivier Rodrigue's life very, very difficult. 3 goals on 13 shots. All 3 of them were basically grade A, high-danger scoring chances. He has no chances.
Thoughts on Bouchard on this one?
I mean, he's moving into open ice to create a good scoring opportunity. Kapanen should see that.
Yeah, Evan Bouchard goes, my teammate has the puck on his stick with time. We are down by a goal. I'm going to give
me the puck. Give me the puck.
Give me the puck. And also, if you want to pause it, right when Kapanen grabs it here and Bouchard decides to engage, Bouchard is thinking, okay, that puck's going to the net or it's coming to me because I actually have room. Kapanen decides to take it in with 2 guys to a traffic area instead of, again, if he flutters that right there on his backhand to Bouchard, Bouchard has 3 strides to pick a corner and rip a shot. If Kapanen a frame earlier puts that one on net, he has 2 guys going to the net who can do something with that. Like right there,
shoot it.
You have traffic and you have a guy going for the rebound on the back door, or even get it to Bouchard there and you're going to create a good chance. Absolute insane decision by Kasperi Kapanen. There's no justification for that. McTavish strips him, goes back the other way, scores. Felt like the game was kind of over. The Oilers do make it close. 16:29 mark just as the goalie gets pulled. Jeff Skinner has his 16th of the year. We're going to talk more about Skinner in a little bit, but the shot from the point by Bouchard, great play by him to get it through. Good job by the Oilers having, 3 guys in front of the net? Holy shit, when you have traffic, things go your way?
It's like Louis said on a broadcast last night. It's like when you don't know who scored the goal, it's a good thing. It means you made the right play, and then obviously right at the end of the game too, 2 or 3 seconds left, Bouchard rips another one off the post. Like, they were a bit unlucky last night. They didn't help that Dostal was playing so well. Yep. But I think overall, like, one you should have won, but not one to be overly disappointed about, I don't think. I think they played better in this game than they did against San Jose.
I mean, they played good, but the point is score. You got to find, and Dostal,
score.
We'll talk about Dostal with Dubnyk in a little bit. Not sure if he's here yet or not. But yeah, just again, letting the points slip against a team that's 34-35. The 34-35-8. It's disappointing to me. And again, it was a chance to keep a slim chance of having home ice advantage in round 1, keep that alive, and they dropped the ball on that. I understand you were all very, very fired up. Okay, whatever. I'm not doing this whole Bouchard thing again today because we do it every fucking day, and there's no talking sense into the people who don't agree with me and don't see it the same way I do. So I'm not going to keep doing that. Nobody wants to listen to me do that. Instead, Guest Line, Star Mechanical Guest Line, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more about what's made them one of Edmonton's most trusted companies by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca. You see the trucks, you see the vans all over Edmonton. 24/7 emergency service, residential, commercial. They do it all. They do it well. As we welcome in Devan Dubnyk to the program for his weekly appearance on the show. Devan, let's talk a little bit about Olivier Rodrigue last night. He makes his first career NHL start, and every goal he gave, like the Oilers didn't make life easy on him. Every goal he gave up was like a grade A quality scoring chance, 2-on-1 breakaway. But I thought he made the saves he was supposed to. What'd you make of him?
Yeah, I agree. It's a little sloppy on the first rebound, I would say, but that's just nitpicky. If you watch the game, he looked great. He looked comfortable. He looked solid in there. You want to watch, and you know there's going to be a ton of nerves there, so you watch if he's running around and scrambling. And I didn't think that was the case at all. And yeah, those are just goals that are going to go in for the most part. Great shot. Like I said, if you're nitpicking, it's just the rebound. But he's a young kid in his first game, and I think it was a really good showing for him, and a good opportunity, just kind of the way the season is, and where the Oilers are in the standings. It's an exciting opportunity for him to get a chance to jump in and play a game. Because it's tough as a young goalie to come in. Um, Opportunities aren't always there that you're going to have a chance to the team's going to let you jump in and play a game this this late in the year. So thought he did really well.
Who was your first game against?
Yeah.
What was that kind of feeling like getting the first taste of it?
It was interesting. Both of them actually. My first game was off the bench. We were in Vancouver, Hockey Night in Canada. Vancouver was a horse, and they were top of the league, and I hadn't played yet, so I'd been dressing for like 20 some games at this point. Hadn't played, hadn't had a sniff of playing, and it's in Vancouver, Hockey Night in Canada. They go up 4-0 like 6 minutes into the game, and I am trying to hide. I'm trying to be a ghost in the corner of the bench, like my face. They start showing the backup goalie on the camera, like that was me, and I was pale as a ghost. And then finally, Pat Quinn just looked over and was like, "Duver, get in there!" And I mean, I couldn't feel my body. I was so nervous. I was like, I told myself after a couple minutes, I'm like, "You got to calm down here because this is not going to work for the rest of the game." Like I'm not even there. So that game ended up fine. I think I gave up 3 on like 30 in that game, and then my first actual start was at home against St. Louis. It wasn't a good one. We lost 7-2. I think I gave up 7 on 25. So took me a little bit to gain some traction.
What do you remember? Like they were playing some of the clips yesterday of like Olivier Rodrigue talking to his family before, and then him at skate, like having a conversation with Leon Draisaitl, and Draisaitl was kind of like chuckling with them. But was there anything like small from that first start, like throughout the day, that was like kind of cool that sticks out to you?
Not really. I was kind of shitting my pants the whole day. It was such a weird year too. Like, so I didn't get my parents couldn't come, like I didn't get any sort of heads up. Although I think they did come to the game because we were in Edmonton and they were in Calgary, but I didn't get any heads up or anything. I was going out. We were at home, morning skate, going out as soon as the meeting was over. I was walking onto the ice with my gear on because I didn't play ever, so I'd go on the ice early every day. And as I'm walking out, Pat Quinn goes back to his office, comes back out, and just yells down the hall, "Do where you're starting tonight." And my first NHL start. So all of a sudden, again, instantly couldn't feel my body. I was walking to the ice. All of a sudden, things changed in a hurry. So I got to stew on that all day, and certainly didn't do the best job of handling it.
Pre-game nap wasn't as easy as usual when you're sitting there with those
Not a
nerves.
lot of minutes slept that day. No.
Okay, I want to go back to the game last night. I bitched about it, so I want to hear your take. Your thoughts on this first goal. I think it's a goal where it's not as simple as just pointing at Evan Bouchard and being like, why are you throwing a puck up the middle of the ice? I think there's a whole bunch of people to blame on this one, but what do you make of this, sort of the breakdown from the players, then like you said too, the rebound from Rodrigue?
Yeah, so here's what I don't like. You got back pressure. Right, pause it here. I don't know if you can pause it or not. Probably
Oh,
not.
we'll get it. We'll get it paused.
We'll run it back. The thing that for Bouchard for me that starts this whole thing is I don't know where he's going right here. So he's got him here. He makes a good read that he's got the forward chasing him here. So you can roll it after the forward then picks up. Now it's the forwards guy. Where does Bouchard go here? That's my problem. He goes off to the corner for I don't know what reason, which then like I don't know where he's going here. The Oilers don't have possession of the puck, so it's I'm assuming he's not thinking that guy's just going to chip it into the corner for him. Maybe he is. Maybe he thinks he's going to soft dump it and he's going to be there already. But the problem is he continues like he's in the corner right now. Look at the front of the net. If this gets through here, I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see me. Through here, there's nobody there. If that rebound comes right out, is that Gauthier? Is it or no? Okay, if that rebound comes right out, that the guy's wide open right here in the slot. There's nobody there. Bouchard should be there. And then also that creates the whole thing where now he's late getting there. Now he's just getting to the puck on his backhand. All he can do is pop it up the middle. I mean, as far as this is really all he can do at this point. So yeah, it's kind of unlucky. It goes off the guy's skate right to him. It's not a great place to put the puck whatsoever. But him going to the corner put himself in that position. If he had gone to the front of the net, he would have been there and he could have knocked this puck to the corner on his forehand. So if he stays middle, again, he goes to the corner. The only thing he can do there is slap it up the middle on his backhand. If he was already there, he could have turned as the right hander and knocked it to the corner. So that's the issue that I have with that one. I don't like beating up on guys, but just when I was watching this a few times over, it's just this initial like, why is he off to the corner here?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like, you kind of defend it too, like we did. Like, the clearance, like, you kind of have no choice but to
But
put
he did put, I see what you're saying.
right
He put
there,
himself
yeah.
in a bit of a bad spot.
He put himself in that spot.
Yeah, he was getting killed online. Like, I was looking at Max Jones, who's at the Oiler at the top of the screen there, and he doesn't take a stride for about 4.5 seconds as he's standing there. And it's like, okay, if he's a little bit more engaged, does he step onto that puck? Kapanen, who I think we're learning a lesson that Kasperi Kapanen probably can't play center at the NHL, but like he's the center on this, and all of a sudden he's out of frame on this whole play. So I just felt like it was a whole mishmash of issues. But you're right, Bouchard making that read down into the corner does kind of start things, I guess, and then it's just a shit show because you have the fourth line on the ice and they didn't know what they were doing.
Well, yeah, and you're vacating the entire front of the net. I mean, this is not a dangerous play here, and that's that's where the rebound needs to be controlled. But those plays don't matter. Like that rebound doesn't get controlled, and the puck goes in the corner instead. Nobody even thinks about the rebound. So that's you gotta protect him a little bit, especially in his first game. But that's really the biggest thing for me is like look at the vacancy in front of the net right now. Like you have their team has possession of the puck. Anaheim has possession of the puck. So things like that can happen when there's a turnover because guys are playing differently and expecting something to happen. But Anaheim has possession of the puck the entire time, and the forward stops up, it gets bumped back to the point, and he shoots it, and the entire slot is vacated. And those are things that you want to clean up, obviously.
Incident yesterday in the game, Radko Gudas takes a hit on Corey Perry. Two-part question. One, what did you make of that play? And obviously seemed like a missed call from the ref, no doubt about it. But what did you make of the response from the Oilers? I think it's been overblown a little bit because the gloves weren't dropped. But do you think it gets to a point in the game, even when the guy's saying no, that you kind of have to make him say yes? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's tough. I think that there just needs to be a response, which there was. As long as you have guys, they're trying. They'd also, it's a game that is a close game. Like they don't want to go take a penalty that costs the team the game by jumping them. I mean, Gudas is a tough guy. He's not gonna he can stand in there on his own. So it's like jumping him, taking a penalty, probably not getting really any licks on him. It's not really helping anything as long as you're taking runs at him. I mean, it's a dirty play. And Gudas, I mean, he walks the line. He's a good hard player, but like I mean, you got to imagine it's reviewed because his elbow's out so early. And I mean, he's a guy, he wants to get bumped, he wants to bump, but look how early his arm is out. And that's less dirty of a replay. I think his head actually hits his helmet, not his elbow. So the one from behind doesn't look as bad, but it's just the early lead on the elbow. And like I said, Gudas is a guy, he likes the physicality. He's going to look for bumps, getting guys way. So I don't mind like the bumping Perry in this case to interfere with him a little bit. It's obviously the wing and the elbow out. He looks like he's trying to pop him, not interfere with him. And I don't know. You can watch that over and over. I don't think his elbow got Perry in the head. I mean, you'd have to ask Perez that. It actually looks like his shoulder on that. I don't know. I feel like every angle you look, his head gets something different. But dirty play, I think. You look at the chicken wing come out early. But as long as there's some response from the guys, that's all you're looking for, and they should. Corey Perry's a well-respected veteran guy and can't be doing that to anybody, but especially not him.
Well, and it's kind of this conversation with the Oilers right now where, like, I mean, they're starting to get it a little bit more, but they haven't had that like playoff intensity, that level all year. They haven't been a team that's jumping into a bunch of scrums. They haven't been a team, and we've criticized them for it this year, like standing up for each other has been a bit of an issue. The guys in the room have talked about it. Corey Perry had a big thing after Stuart Skinner got ran into a couple of weeks ago. So I feel like the Oilers are maybe trying, but they're also at a point right now where they're locked into third in the division. They more or less have nothing to play for in these final 5 games. They're just trying to get guys healthy. And I'm wondering if you've ever been in a spot like that with any of the playoff teams you were on, where like there's 6 games to go, you know what seed you are, you have nothing to play for, but like you're still trying to ramp up and have that intensity of your game. Like, is that a challenge when you're at this point in the season and in a spot like the Oilers are?
I don't know if I've been as locked in standings wise with 6 to go. I mean, I've been in situations where being out of the playoffs, but more closer to kind of like 3 or 4 games left, where you knew it's tough. It's the way it is. It's difficult. Guys are professionals. They're going to go out there and play and try to win. There's no question about that. But listen, you're locked into your spot. It's mid-April and you're in Southern California. The sun's shining, the beach looks good. Like there's just, hey, everyone's a human being. It's a little bit more difficult to get dialed in when you're in Anaheim playing against the non-playoff team. So there will be situations like that that come up in a game like that, although they played extremely well. So I don't think that was the case at all. But it's tough, and you just have to, because you're also trying to stay healthy, and nobody ever goes out there and tries not to get hurt. But it's like, are you going to go 150%? Doing things, or is your brain going to subconsciously tell you that like no, because you've got playoffs coming up, and nobody's going to do that on purpose, but everyone's a human being. So it is a tough situation. I think you do want to take the last couple. You want to have good habits, and 6 games is a significant period of time to form bad habits and get away from what you need to do from playing an LA Kings team in the playoffs that's looking pretty good right now. So they are going to have to find a way to ramp it up, but it's tough.
What do you make of Lucas Dostal? I feel like every time the Oilers play him, this guy puts up an unbelievable performance, and he just seems to have improved so much. Like, what do you make of him, and what do you think his like ceiling could be for the Ducks?
Yeah, it's a great find for Anaheim. I mean, Anaheim's just been one of those teams that hasn't really been in the mix throughout the year. So he's kind of doesn't you don't see him a lot. You haven't heard too much about him. But he looks great, and he's been, his numbers have been consistent for a long time. Just about everywhere he's gone. Obviously he's with Anaheim, but down in San Diego and through World Championships and all that stuff, he's got consistently good numbers, and he looks good. He's very solid. He's not a big guy, as you can see, but he's very structured when he moves around. But then he doesn't look like he'd be flexible and be able to do that stuff, but then he is, and he breaks out of it. So if you can have that structure, but then the ability to be acrobatic when need be, it's a good combination. And he's obviously trending in the right direction. He's played more games each year. He's getting lots of work, lots of experience, and if they can get him to gain that experience now when he's facing a lot of rubber, and they can grow him to when they hopefully turn the corner and become a contender, a playoff contender again, that'll be all that experience that he can use towards that.
I also think they've developed him really, really well. And some of it is like almost luck to an extent. But like when Gibson is healthy, they have this perfect little split where if Dostal's hot, he gets to play a few games. Then they got to go back to Gibson because you got to give the vet a few starts as well. But because Gibson's also so injury prone, Dostal's also gotten like a few instances where it's like, oh man, I got to play 12 of 14 games here because I'm the only healthy goalie in the system, which I think is really interesting when you compare it. And it gives him the chance to, I guess my point is, when he struggles and Gibson's healthy, they have Gibson to fall back on, and he doesn't have to get overworked. And you compare that to like Stuart Skinner coming into the league at a really young age, and it was like, well, Jack Campbell forgot how to play goal, and now Stuart Skinner has to be the starting goalie at 24 years old. And if you're not playing well, we don't have another option, so you just got to keep playing. Like those two development paths, I think, are really interesting.
Yeah, they are, and there's just so much less pressure and ability to work through things, in Dostal's situation, where you can play, like you said, 12, 14 games. You can have some ups and downs in that. You can learn through the process of playing because they're not a playoff team. So it's not make or break. It's not tomorrow's do or die. They can continue to put him in there, let him grow, let him experience all this stuff. That's really the only way to do it for a goaltender properly. But it's also what makes it so hard to do is because there's so many teams throughout the league that are so close to playoffs. It's like there's just, especially the second half of the year, they're not just going to throw a guy in if they're close to a playoff spot. They're not just going to let a guy work through some things for 7 or 8 games. But when you're in the situation that Anaheim's in, they've been able to do that now and give themselves an opportunity to grow a goaltender. And yeah, I mean, Skinner's obviously done a great job, but thrown in a pretty tough situation as a young guy in a very, very hot hockey market.
Last one, I guess, for you, because we were joking about how Dostal just absolutely has the Oilers number. I'm curious if you remember what teams did you just absolutely dominate? I did the research, so I have the answers. There are 3 teams in your career that you had a .930 or better save percentage against, which is crazy.
Oh, boy. Montreal.
Yeah, that's one of them.
LA?
LA was really close. You were .927 against LA.
Okay.
Jeez.
Montreal was your second best. I'll give you a freebie. Florida was your best. You had a .937 across 11 games against the Panthers. And the other one that you dominated when you played against is hilarious.
Oh, now I don't know.
It's Edmonton.
Oh, Edmonton. Oh, yeah, I should have known that. Yeah, that's right. I went on a nice little rip after I get shipped out of there.
Yeah, you had a
Like I was,
934.
the season that I got traded to Minnesota, I ended up getting to play Edmonton like 7 or 8 times because we'd already played in Arizona. We'd already played our 5 games before I got traded, and then we had 3 more. And then Minnesota hadn't played any, so I played Edmonton 8 times that year. And I think we finally lost the last one like 2-1, but I'd gone like 7 in a row or something. So
Well, I'm
it was good. And not to down talk Mac T at all, but he happened to be the one that shipped me out there, and he was behind the bench for a few of those. So it was a nice little way to say hi.
So the Oilers had a terrible run in Minnesota for a long time, and I'm starting to think you might have been the reason why.
Yeah, the curse. The curse.
There was a good it was a good 2-point night a lot of times when Edmonton was rolling in. But then Connor and Leon came along, and it started to become a little more difficult.
Yeah, a little bit less fun. The team you had the most shutouts against in your career was Colorado. You shut them out 4 times, and I also think it's funny that you racked up 8 penalty minutes in those games, the most penalty minutes against any team. So were you just, feeling yourself in a shutout and, blockering guys?
No, I could be a bit of an idiot at any point in time. But those games, they were just always intense. They were always really intense. I don't know why. I used to just get into it with Landeskog, and he was like my best buddy on the team when I got traded there. Like one of the best guys you'll ever meet. And for whatever reason, up until then, I met him at the All-Star game, and I mean, I'd kind of getting older and a little more calm at this point, but I just anytime I saw 92 in front of me, and he's always at the front of the net because that's where he plays, it was like my wires just crossed and I saw red and I just started swinging. It was a 0-0 game one time. You can find it on YouTube. And I just started fighting him in front of the net. The puck went to the other end. He didn't even do anything. He was just standing in front of the net. He maybe backed in a little bit too close to me, but nothing. And I just start teeing off on the back of his legs and drop my stick and just start trying to fight him for no reason. It was 0-0 in the 3rd period. I don't know why. I just made the wires cross.
How about the fact he has not played an NHL game in basically 1,000 days now? It's been almost 3 years, and he's getting ready to apparently come back and play in round 1 of the playoffs for the Avs. That is wild.
I hope so. I really hope so. Again, just getting to know him. One of the best guys, one of the best captains I've ever been around, and man, does he change the dynamic of that team when he's out there. He brings everything. The leadership, the physicality. He'll fight, he'll score, he'll do everything. So, it's got to be a difficult run for him to be out for that long, and it'd be nice to see him back on the ice.
Yeah, it would be something. That first round series, if it's Dallas, Colorado, is going to be insane. But we can maybe talk more about that next week. Devin, appreciate you popping on. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Former Oiler, former NHLer, Devin Dubnyk.
Former Oiler killer.
Former Oiler killer.
Dubnyk.
Didn't say what team he had the worst save percentage against.
I'm going to guess.
There's no rhymery. It's a random team.
I'm going to guess the Carolina Hurricanes.
No, you'd be wrong. Still in
Washington.
Nope, you're still wrong.
Pittsburgh.
Nope, wrong.
The Islanders. Buffalo.
Nope.
Arizona.
Nope.
Do
Eastern
they
Conference.
exist still?
Yes.
Old Eastern Conference or new Eastern Conference? It could be Winnipeg.
Penguins.
Doesn't matter.
I said
no.
the Penguins.
Said
Detroit.
Penguins. No.
Ottawa.
Nope.
Montreal.
Nope.
Toronto.
Nope.
New Jersey Devils.
Nope.
The-
Wait, who'd you say?
Boston.
There you go. Boston. He had an 884, which, like, again,
left.
it just speaks to his career. 884 being, like, the worst you were against a team is still so good.
People guessing in the chat. Philly, forgot about them.
Oh, yeah.
Random team, Boston.
Well, actually, speaking of Montreal, let's
that's big news.
let's get to what's trending. It's brought to you by Douglas Mattress, locally owned and operated Edmonton company. You can get a mattress starting at just $599, and they offer free shipping across Canada through their convenient mattress in a box delivery. You want to talk about comfort? I sleep like a baby every day on my Douglas mattress. It's part of the reason I struggle getting up in the morning because I don't want to wake up so comfy. Work from my bed sometimes in the morning. That's how comfy my Douglas is. Anyways,
cool.
get yours, douglas.ca/nation. The Montreal Canadiens are reportedly going to get Ivan Demidov in their lineup by the end of this season. So if you don't know this story, it's absolutely bananas. Ivan Demidov was the 5th overall pick a couple of years ago or last year. Last year, he was the 5th overall pick. He went back to Russia this year, had 49 points in 65 KHL games.
Led the team in points.
Led the team. And then in their first 6 playoff games, put up 5 points. And you can connect the dots however you want here. Towards the end of their playoff run, they just started sitting him. He would not play. He would dress but not play, more or less, I think.
I didn't know
Or
that.
they were healthy scratching him. Whatever it was, they just stopped playing their best player. And everyone was like, wonder if he told them he's not coming back next year and he's going to the NHL. And this is like their FU punishment to him.
Yeah. And now here he is.
Well, and now here he is. So SKA St. Petersburg making an announcement that, let me just pull it up here. Demidov and the team have made a joint decision which will see the forward join the Montreal Canadiens this season. His KHL rights will remain with SKA. He will return to St. Petersburg if he doesn't gain a foothold in the NHL. Elliot Friedman saying this is legit. He is coming over. And the Montreal Canadiens, who, if they win tonight, will more or less clinch a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. They are 6 points clear of the Detroit Red Wings right now. Detroit has a game in hand, but they are head-to-head tonight. So if Montreal beats Detroit tonight, they're basically in, really can't be caught, and they could be getting Ivan Demidov into their top 6 for the playoffs, which is crazy.
Yeah, playing pro in Russia and doing so well this isn't just some junior player coming up after a season ended. Like, this is a legit guy. He's a talent. I'm surprised, honestly, he fell to 5th in the draft, and I think that was just because people were unsure when he could maybe come over from Russia. So Montreal find themselves another potential stud. He's going to be a difference maker. And now a first round of Montreal-Washington has another headline to it.
So someone said he's not allowed to play in the playoffs. I think he is.
Oh, no, you are allowed to play in the playoffs. Well, the rule is if you're traded, obviously, is one thing.
Yeah.
But if your rights are already with that organization, you can just sign and go. That happens a lot, too, with, like, college players. I think. Pretty sure that's the rule.
What's trending? The Oilers are planning new advanced security to enhance the Rogers Place fan experience. So when you go to the game tomorrow, there's going to be new security procedures. Oh, I think they're doing like you can keep your phone and stuff in your pockets maybe.
Oh, we're just cruising through now like you can in like Vegas and stuff. You just walk right through those scanners and they don't make you take anything out unless you have a bag. That's good. Good news.
Sorry, I'm just getting caught up in this. Yeah, no need to empty your pockets or place anything in a bin. You're going to scan your ticket before you go through security, and then you just walk right in. That's actually kind of cool. That should cut down on lines pretty hard.
Yeah, that is handy. Those lines, too, though, to be fair to Rogers, I feel like they're very long, but they don't actually take that long to get through.
Also, once you figure out that you can just, like if the Fort Hall line is long, you just walk past the casino and go to the back side.
Oh, yeah.
There's like never anyone on the back side.
That is a good one, too.
What's trending? Game 7 tonight for the Oil Kings?
Yeah, they play PA tonight.
So they blew Game 6.
Kinda.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for them.
They've done well to get it to a game.
Yeah.
To even be in a Game 7, I think their expectations were low on them. They can do it.
Tonight, 7 o'clock, Arthauser in PA. Oil Kings looking to punch their ticket to the second round.
Yeah, the Arthauser. What a little rink they got there. I like that spot. Crew play tonight too. Game 3.
Lofts. What's the series?
What did you say?
Lofts.
What does that mean?
Short for playoffs.
Oh.
Playoffs.
The Lofts.
Series Crew up 2-0. First home game tonight, game 3. 7 p.m. The Randy Rosen Show Park rink.
Giddy up.
Formally.
Blue Jays won yesterday. George Springer.
Above 500.
Above 500.
Go Jays go.
So last year, George Springer played in, I believe, 140 games for the Toronto Blue Jays. And you know the stat WAR, right? Like wins above replacement.
I do now.
It basically takes in like everything a player does, fielding, hitting, and it gives you like how many wins they contribute above a replacement level player.
Right.
So last year, George Springer played in 145 games and accumulated 1.1 WAR. So he helped the Jays basically win 1.1 games.
Oh, okay.
He's played in 11 games this year and has already accumulated 0.8 WAR.
Oh, so it's like a bit the 1 point whatever you said isn't actually that low of a number.
1.1 is like
just below average.
it's
maybe?
like, yeah, it's pretty much your replacement level player. You're a tick
Okay.
above replacement level. He's
already
already contributed as much to the Jays, more or less, or he's contributed 75%
wow.
what he did in 145 games last year and 11 games this
So
season.
what's the difference?
He's just racked up clutch hits. They moved him into the 6 hole, and then they bumped him up yesterday to the 5 spot.
Because he was leadoff, right?
He was leadoff, and it wasn't working. But they moved him up, or moved him back in the lineup a little bit in some RBI slots, and I think he's just simplifying his game. It's working.
Cool. Good. He makes a lot of money, doesn't he?
He does make a lot of money. Yes,
Yeah.
he's also very old. The
And
Denver
he's a cheetah.
And
last
a cheater. And a cheater.
well, he's exonerated. Last thing before we get back to the Oilers, the NBA playoffs start in 4 days, 5 days.
I think so. Pretty quick.
The Denver Nuggets just fired their head coach and GM, and you're thinking, okay, surely a team that's firing their head coach and GM with 4 games remaining in the regular season isn't that good, right? Nope, they're 47-32 and are currently the 4 seed in the Western Conference, and you think, well, maybe they hired some big hotshot coach. Nope, just promoted their assistant coach to the new head coach. Firing your head coach when you're the 4 seed, and you won a championship 2 years ago.
Yeah. And they're the best player in the league.
And Jokic might be the MVP.
And Jokic might be the MVP. That's crazy.
Yeah, he must be a real asshole.
It would be legitimately like if the Oilers announced 4 days from now,
And Knobloch is just gone.
yeah, that Knobloch and Bowman are out.
Yeah, something must have gone on there. Like, I don't think you make that move for no reason.
No.
They were on a 4-game losing streak, but I mean, it's kind of harmless in the
that's
grand
nothing.
scheme of things.
Mhm.
Something must have gone on behind the scenes, but he's been there for 10 years, I think. He was there for a long, long time.
Jokic loved him.
Turned that franchise around, really. Denver
Yeah.
was just such a middling team forever. Kenyon Martin was the best player when Melo left. Shout out Kenyon.
Dude, sick pull. Good pull.
Great jerseys, too. The little, like, blue chalk ones.
I have a Carmelo baby
What were they?
blue
Not
jersey.
chalk. What were they? Baby blue.
Baby blue.
Blue chalk. What the heck?
Russell Westbrook tears teams apart. It's a fact.
Is he still getting triple doubles every game?
Not every
Not
game.
every
but
game.
He's trying. He got a couple.
My fandom in sports has really changed the last few years. Like, I feel like there was a time there where I would watch NBA and MLB probably more than I would watch the NHL and the NFL.
Well, like,
And now it's not that at all.
you'll just sit there and rattle off baseball players from like 2015 to 2018, and then I'll be like, do you know Andres Jimenez on the Jays? And you'll be like, nope, no idea.
No, I don't know.
You should get back into baseball.
Ben Revere, though.
Maybe I will this summer. The thing is, too, like, last summer I was so checked out of it because we were obviously just so busy with the playoffs that when I wasn't watching the others, I didn't really want to watch anything else. You know, I didn't want to watch other sports. So maybe I will this year. I think the Blue Jays being also terrible has not helped
Yeah, that's
the
fair.
thing. What did you make of the lack of response, as people are labeling it as last night from the others?
Yeah,
Because I
okay.
think it's been blown out of proportion to an extraordinary level.
Yeah, so let's do it. It's One Big Take brought to you by Service Credit Union. The Service Big Share Contest is back. It's your chance to win $500 just by saving money. The contest ends April 30th, 2025, which means it's your final month. Don't let this chance to win $1 million pass you by. Skill test required for rules. Visit service.ca/win. Again, if you don't know yet, every $500 you save gets you 5 entries into the Service Big Share Contest. And you can move your savings over as well. Anyone can enter by becoming a member and saving with Service. All right. Last night, the response to the Gudas hit. First off, the Gudas hit was a cheap shot chicken shit play. And the Anaheim Ducks are a million points out of the playoffs for the 7th straight year?
One, yeah.
Not even close. And Ryan Strome running around and hitting Evan Bouchard with his hands up high and then grabbing Kapanen. The Ducks are a joke of a franchise, and watching them play last night, if anyone thinks they're one piece away from being even remotely competitive while they continue to employ dinosaurs like Radko Gudas and Jacob Trouba, they're not close. They're not going to be a playoff team next year, and they're probably not going to be a playoff team the year after that. And them running around trying to hurt guys who are getting ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs is borderline embarrassing. Don't clip that because I don't need Ducks fans getting pissed at me.
There isn't any of them anyway. It doesn't matter.
Decent
they all
point.
Left before the game was over yesterday, and you're winning. Goddammit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, the refs get criticized heavily for this one, and rightfully so. The one who is closest to it, I will give a little bit of leeway because he's clearly trying to just get out of the way of the play, but also too like
how the back ref doesn't see any of that is ridiculous.
I'm not even asking for an elbow or whatever. It should have been called. Like, it's a clear interference.
Yep.
He stepped away from the puck. I saw a lot of people just tweeting about how the Oilers didn't respond to it. I'm pretty sure the next shift Gudas was out there. In the moment, yes, no one responded. Whatever.
Which, again, I would, to be fair, like to see a little bit more it's-on-site mentality
Yes,
from the Oilers. Like, you touch one of our guys, we're getting you.
I would too. Nurse gets on the ice. His first shift with Gudas. You can see him asking him to fight. And Gudas, they have a full zoom in on him, and he just shakes his head and goes, no.
That was during the TV timeout.
And then during the timeout as well, they showed a replay of him like grabbing him. I thought Podkolzin made some runs at him. Perry had a run at him as well. Like, there was a bunch of stuff, and I just think it was unfair. I think the Oilers did step up and try and do a little bit about it. There's obviously the other angle of it. It's like, okay, if he's saying no, which was what Kulak said, right? Yeah. He didn't want to fight. A bunch of guys asked him, then go get someone else. And that's maybe where you want to go do it.
Or
I think the other part too, is, okay, say Nurse fights him. Nurse punches him, breaks his hand. That would suck. The Oilers have had so many injuries. They were playing with 10 forwards at one point. They started the game with 11, went down to 9 with Podkolzin, and obviously Perry getting injured as well. It's like, okay, maybe it gets to a point where it's like they can only respond so much because they have so few players left. They just got to get to the end of the line. I think they did actually a way better job than what they have typically done so far this season. And I would say, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, since Perry basically called him out for the Skinner thing, or himself out in a way, I guess, I feel like it's been a lot better, no?
I think it's been a little bit better. They've been more willing to get into scrums. What I would have liked to see is like, okay, if you're going to go and clip Corey Perry with that elbow, I would have loved to see someone like a Max Jones go, oh, there's a reason I'm in the lineup, and it's because I'm big.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Max Jones just go and grab Mason McTavish.
Yeah, someone.
Just go run him. Or cross-check him as hard as you can. What are you going to get, a 2-minute penalty? You're down 3-1. Who gives a shit?
And I think that's what they were worried about because the Ducks have been called on so much that they were like, we got to try and get in this game and win it, which is maybe another reason why. But Henrique also ripped Gudas' helmet off and got called for it. So maybe that was also a thing. Like, I think they did okay. Dropping the gloves, obviously. Like, someone's saying on the radio today as I was driving in, a text just being like, just make him fight. And I know I asked that to Doobie, and I don't think you can just do that because then you end up with the extra 2 minutes and potentially even the 5-minute major if Gudas doesn't drop his gloves. Like, it would just not be a good way for the Oilers to try and deal with this.
Yeah,
I think they did fine.
Last night, they at least had some out. And, like, even when Bouchard got hit and then the whole thing happened at the end of the period with Strome, Brett Kulak was fucking livid.
Let him go, man.
Well,
like,
that
what
too.
are they doing? Get out of the way. You've got two guys. The ref is the only thing between, well, I think it was Strome and Kulak, wasn't it? Maybe Vetrano, whoever it was.
Vetrano, Kulak.
Let him drop. They are grown men. They can make their own decisions. They're probably telling him, like, let us go. And the ref's like, nope. It's like, no, like, this will actually help calm down this game that you have allowed to escalate to this point because you missed the call.
Yeah. And Louis, first off, stick taps to Louis, who was just an absolute G on that broadcast last night. And you could tell he was pissed. I can't wait to have him on next Monday. Yeah. It's going to be electric. I wish we just had him on today again.
Yeah,
but Louis was livid, and understandably so. Like, again, when it's at the point where guys are going to get hurt and the refs are just sitting there going, it's ridiculous. Then the refs also got themselves into a hilarious wormhole of makeup calls where it was like, okay, they knew they owed the Oilers one, so they called the not trip on Arvidsson. And then Arvidsson got tripped, and they were like, well, we called the ticky-tack trip to make up for the missed call earlier, so we probably shouldn't call another trip. And they were all sorts of fucked up.
Yeah, they couldn't get out of their own way last night, the officials. It was bad.
Yeah. Also, someone said you lost to that joke of a team last night. Yeah, in the last 5 years, the Oilers are 11-4 against the Ducks. Won all 11 of those games in regulation and have outscored them 73-40. So I'm not going to get too worried about last night's 3-2 loss.
Ducks have had the Oilers number. It just is what it is, unfortunately.
Just this year, weirdly enough.
Just this year.
Because this year, you're right. They're 11-4 in the last 5 years, but this year they're 1-3.
Yeah, so whatever. Sucked. I'm willing to not over-exaggerate what happened yesterday. I saw some positives. Obviously, like we kind of briefly mentioned, the Oilers played with 11 forwards because of whoever was injured. Who got injured?
Frederick.
Who?
Frederick.
Yeah.
Bingo. They were able to call up Noah Philp today on an emergency basis. So someone asked earlier, I commented, no one was sent down. You have to play one game shorthanded, and then you can call up a player. They have no cap hit.
Yeah.
They're just here because you have nobody left, which is maybe also another thing of being like, hey, Drysdale and McDavid also aren't coming back tomorrow.
Yeah, or this is an insurance policy. If they think one of them's close, but it's not a guarantee, whatever. But yeah, so one thing that, first off, I'm kind of happy it's Philp over Savoy just because you need a center. Janmark and Kapanen are not centers, and we are learning that lesson here. And it also ties into, we can call it our Sherwood Ford Giant Question as we work towards the wrap of the show. And I think maybe we'll get deeper into this conversation tomorrow just because we went so long and Dubnyk was so good. But need to give some love to our friends over at Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Shout out to Nation Valet. I'm going to be using it tomorrow. I cannot wait. I'm coming to the office to do all my work. They're taking the truck to the dealership, doing the oil change, doing the inspection, driving it right back to me. It is that easy. Hockey fans helping hockey fans at Sherwood Ford, the Giant. I sent out the tweet last night saying, like, all right, 5 games to go in the season. One of, and this is tryout time for these guys, one of Janmark, Brown, Skinner, or Podkolzin is going to have to come out if everyone else is healthy. And I am assuming Kapanen and Jones are already out. So one of Skinner, Janmark, Brown, or Podkolzin needs to come out. I mean, the decision was almost made for them when Vasily Podkolzin went down yesterday, but he turned out to be just fine. I don't see how you can justify taking Jeff Skinner out of the lineup. I think he's done everything you've asked of him to do. He's adapted and changed his game exactly how the coaching staff would have wanted him to. Taking him out now is stupid. The penalty killing aspect, I get. I can understand that. And people were saying Janmark and Brown were so good on the PK in the playoffs last year that how can you take them out? Okay, but the penalty kill hasn't been great this season.
You need to live in the moment.
You need to live in the moment. And that's kind of my big thing. I had someone tweet me and go, Janmark elevates in the playoffs just like Zach Kassian does. And I think sometimes we just remember those sort of one-off moments as whatever. They stick in our brains, and maybe I understand why they do. But, like, I went in, again, you go look at what Zach Kassian actually, these are Zach Kassian's playoff numbers in Edmonton. He had 3 points in 16-17, and then we spent the next 3 years justifying all his call it subpar play in the regular season, consistent subpar play in the regular season. We sat there and justified it because it was like, whoa, that's a guy you want in the playoffs. That's a guy you want in the playoffs. And then he played another 24 playoff games and only scored 3 more goals. So, like, I don't know. I feel like you can sit here and be like, well, Janmark elevates in the playoffs. And I'd sit there and go, last year he may have had some moments in the playoffs. I'm not even going to say he consistently elevated. I thought, again, in the cup final, he had a couple of good moments, scored a big goal against Dallas, which they needed in the comeback victory. He had some good moments. But are you going to sit there and, like, cross your fingers that the guy who has scored, how many goals has he scored in the last 2 regular seasons?
6.
And 2 of them are empty netters, and one of them went off his elbow, and the other 3 I don't quite remember. I'm sure they're legitimate goals. We can give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But, like, the point I'm making here is that you're going to sit here and say that for 146 games, he can't score, but magically in the playoffs, he's going to remember how to score. I'm not sure if I buy that. I think I'm willing to look at last year as more of the anomaly and say, you know, Connor Brown has a bit more scale. I actually think Connor Brown's been playing well the last couple of games, and he scored that goal against San Jose. And again, it's not even Janmark hate. It's just the fact that, like, if you gave me the choice, I like the physicality of Podkolzin. I like the speed of Podkolzin a lot more. I like Jeff Skinner's finishing ability, and I think Connor Brown has a higher ceiling. So, again, Janmark's a great 13th forward to have. That is fine. He can play. I'm not trying to sit here and say he's an AHL player or do anything like that. I just think, again, out of those 4, Janmark's my vote right now.
I think so too. I think one thing that's also vital to remember in all of this, there's more than one game in the playoffs. Guys can come back into the lineup. It's not.
Connor Brown didn't play the first half of last year's playoff run.
He literally didn't play until Vancouver. And
Didn't play till Vancouver?
yeah, it was Vancouver, right? Even with Henrique being injured, Brown didn't come into the lineup, if
Yep.
I'm remembering right. I just think Janmark hasn't done enough all season. And when you look at the minutes, he never really like pushes too high up. Like most of the time his minutes come a little extra because somebody got injured recently. So I could see it being Janmark. I also, just the way the season's gone, I don't agree with this. I could see Jeff Skinner getting knocked out for one game.
But
And then the Oilers lose that game. It's like, damn, we need some offense. Janmark goes. And I just think they're going to focus so heavily on playing defense and having Janmark as this penalty killer, all that good stuff. It is going to maybe play a factor of it because your penalty killers after would be who? Nuge, Brown, Henrique, and then whoever the next one is. Hyman, maybe, I don't know. Whatever. I think it should be Janmark, though, nevertheless.
it also might be a home road thing. They might sit there and be like, on the road, we trust Janmark to not make mistakes, which you can argue about that point. I understand. But they might sit there and be like, we trust Janmark not to make mistakes. Let's play him on the road. When you come home, we can maybe build like a third line that actually scores or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's and the funny thing about it is, too, Skinner, Janmark, and Brown have actually been a pretty decent line this season.
Which maybe leans to, do you take out a...
Podkolzin, though, do you want the physicality? It's a good
But you're
problem.
getting physicality with Frederick and Kane, so maybe you can
that's
justify
true.
it.
Or maybe you have three. Well,
That
I
would
don't know.
also be
Like,
nice.
it's such a hard question because even, like, we can sit here and be like, it has to be Janmark. And I think Janmark can play a role, for sure. Like, I'm not saying he's bad. I think the other two options are very easy to make. It's obviously Jones and Kapanen, but Janmark is your fourth line winger, fourth line center, whatever. I think that's a good thing. Could it be Perry?
All right, YouTube chat brought to you by our friends at Odd Company Brewing in the Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Find one today by going to liquorconnect.com, typing in Odd Company Brewing, Nation Beer Lager, and you'll find a liquor store near you. Going to go to the YouTube chat really quick. Don't love doing this. This AV guy in the chat, just don't watch. You can literally just go watch something else.
I'm curious how your takes are clickbaity.
Well,
Please, please elaborate on that, AV.
No, don't even elaborate. Just stop watching. There we go. Next. I'm not going to, no one here is going to miss you.
Yeah.
I don't mean to give the trolls oxygen or whatever, but like, just don't watch. That's all good. I literally will not care. Other than that, YouTube chat's been great today.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was in there before being a weirdo. He left.
No, he's back now.
Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike Tyson. Perry can sit. Yeah, I think Perry might.
Throw down
end
your
up
likes.
sitting in the
Throw down
playoffs.
your
Yeah.
likes.
Connor is in and says, didn't Perry not play most playoff games last year?
No,
or
he played all of them.
Perry?
Didn't he play every
No.
game or didn't
No,
he?
in the cup
He
final.
got scratched
He was getting
consistently.
Well, only at the end, though. He
Um,
was in the lineup
At the end, he was
for
getting scratched
a
up.
long stretch.
Because that's why we were not thrilled about the money he got.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
he
yeah,
had
that is a
one
good point.
goal.
He
Which,
played.
dead wrong.
So yeah, he played 5 against LA. 1, 2, 3. He was scratched for 2 against Van. He was scratched
Okay.
for 3 against Dallas, and then he was scratched for,
Maybe I remember him coming back into the lineup and being disappointed.
and he was scratched in all but, or he was only scratched once against Florida. So he was actually scratched more against Vancouver and Dallas and Florida.
Well, I don't know. I could see him getting some.
Yeah.
But he's played so well.
And
this
Muehlek
season.
says it too. I'd have Perry in and out so he can keep his body rested.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to do it.
I think if they were fully healthy right now, you would see Perry have some games off because I do think
Yeah.
they need to keep him pretty fresh.
I also think he might be the guy on this team that people look at, and you might need him in the lineup every night for that reason. And he again, to his credit, the money thing. I think we'll both stand by. He gets paid a little bit too much,
Yep.
but he has lived up to it.
Yeah,
He's
totally.
done quite a
16
great
goals,
season.
I'll pay that.
What's he have? Like 5 fights this season. Like every time something needs to be done, he's there. Like for me, he might be the MVP of this team.
When Doobie was
I really do mean.
Well,
that.
like relative to expectations,
yeah,
sure.
like he might be the guy who's
Like
like
Leon Draisaitl is the MVP of the whole league.
yeah. When I say MVP, I do eliminate those two from my saying as
Yeah,
well.
the
It's like-
non-McDavid,
yeah.
non-superstar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been awesome.
He's been he's been the heartbeat of this team.
The
There you
way
go.
Doobie described Landeskog, that's what I
HVP.
thought when he was saying that.
so much water on myself.
It's okay. I have blood on my shirt, and you wouldn't let me wear a different sweater.
Liam, they didn't know.
I bleed.
People are going to think I'm like a dictator. I never said you couldn't wear another sweater. There was one specific sweater that ties
Yeah.
into an interview we're taping tomorrow that I said you can't wear.
I only have one other sweater. These ones aren't.
Dad said no.
These ones have
Dad
to
said
be
no.
washed.
My chair is soaking wet.
You pee your pants.
I'm about to, actually. I drank
Piss
a lot of
dog?
water today. No, I'm not doing that. We do have to wrap up the show for our friends at Bet365. Breaking news from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner, and every suspenseful moment in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code NATION to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. Bet365 tonight. I like the Montreal Canadiens to win. They're minus 150 against Detroit. The line's moving, but if you play it with a Suzuki point, you get it at like plus 115.
Damn.
That seems totally fine to me. Florida is home favorites against Toronto, but Florida is reeling, and they're not going to have Sam Bennett tonight. No Aaron Ekblad, no Matthew Tkachuk. I kind of like Toronto at plus 140. I think Toronto's going to be obviously highly motivated to win, and I think Florida's kind of sitting there being like, we don't care who we get in round one.
Interesting mentality.
And I hope it bites them in the ass.
Yeah, I do too. I don't really like the Panthers. Vegas used to did that last season, and I don't know why all of a sudden everyone's just flipped to it, because they literally came out after and were like, we need to focus more on the regular season, and now they're first and going to play Minnesota or Calgary.
Yeah.
Oh, it's St. Louis, I guess.
Blue Jays in action, taking on the Boston Red Sox.
How are the Sox this year?
Sox are good.
Yeah?
Sox are really
Are
good.
they back?
What's
Are they
Xander
back?
Bogaerts up to? Is he having a good start to the year?
He's played for the Padres for 3 years.
Liam.
Really? What about Miller? Is he still a pitcher in the MLB?
Andrew Miller?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
They
This
got
all
it
pre-2020
is, yeah.
based.
He had 3 years where he was a diehard MLB fan, and he remembers it all, which is remarkable.
Yeah, that Cubs team, when they won,
Yeah.
I can't believe that didn't become a dynasty.
Oh, but the thing is, they sold off all those guys.
Everyone.
Well, like,
And none of them were good.
yeah, like Javi
Crazy.
Baez and Chris Bryant became like the 2 worst contracts in the sport.
Chris Bryant was supposed to be the next one.
Did
Oh,
he
yeah.
win the MVP?
I think he did win an
Might
MVP.
have, yeah.
Anyways, the Jays tonight, I don't love betting on them straight up just because Garrett Crochet is so good. And the Jays are going with Easton Lucas in his, I believe, second career start, maybe his third career start. But he did pitch 5 scoreless innings in his first appearance this year with the Jays. So
This is a legit question about the Red Sox.
'Kay.
Is Chris Sale still a Red Sox?
no, he's a Brave, but he's had a crazy good bounce back.
Really?
Yeah, he's
He
really,
must
really
be-
He
good.
was great last
He
year.
must be old now.
Yeah, he's getting up there. I kind of like going Vladdy Dinger tonight too. By
I
the
remember
way,
when he was a White Sox
Uh-huh.
back in the day.
Uh-huh.
That trade to Boston was a big one.
that was crazy. Wasn't I think Yon Moncada went one way?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Very few
I
players.
knew that one. I knew
Yoey
that one.
Moncada.
Former first overall pick.
Yeah, Yon Moncada. He was supposed to be so good, and he just wasn't.
Oh, was he a second baseman?
second
I
baseman.
do remember him.
Mhm.
I played an MLB game once, and I was the White Sox because they were terrible.
Speaking of things, what do you tonight? Amber is going to yoga, which means I have the house to myself for a little bit. I'm going to download the new MLB game and
Oh,
dig into
nice.
that. Last year, I rebuilt the Colorado Rockies.
Are they bad?
Oh my God, they're
You'd think
perpetually
in that
terrible.
ballpark where the air is so thin, you'd hit a few more home runs.
You would think, and no, they're just very, very poorly run. But this year, I'm trying to decide who I want to rebuild with.
Oh, okay. Let me think. I don't know any. If you
The
haven't
Pirates.
noticed, I
The
don't know
Pirates
any of the
seems
good
like the
teams or the
answer.
bad teams. I would assume that Miami still suck.
Yeah, terrible.
They're probably a
They
good team.
went on a magical run, almost made the playoffs a couple years ago.
Oh, I do remember that. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
last
but-
year they were terrible. We went to a game
Yeah, we did.
against.
Cleveland.
It was Cleveland,
Yeah.
with all the Canadian players,
Yeah.
the Nailers.
Someone asked if Eric Sabrowski, our good friend of the program, has pitched yet for the Guardians. So he got an injection in spring training because he had some left elbow inflammation. But I think the plan is that he's going to be back up and throwing. I'm always Twitter searching it. Where is it? There you go. I think the plan is he's going to be back up and throwing at some point by like the end of the month.
Damn.
So he'll pitch this year. And like it's so great when I go and I search his name on Twitter because you get like all the Guardians fan accounts being like, God, can't wait till Sabrowski's back and we can DFA this guy or this guy. And I'm like, hell yeah,
That's good.
that's our boy.
Means he's a good player.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Um,
We went super long today.
yeah, I'm good.
Jeff Skinner, Tyler, who was your favorite Blue Jay in the 2015 run? I was a Josh Donaldson guy over Jose Bautista. I loved fielding at third base. All of that was so sick.
I have a Troy Tulowitzki jersey. That was my guy.
Was that the year they
low.
got all those players, or was that the year after?
Year they got them all. That was the year of the deadline where they loaded up. I still remember where I was sitting in my parent, like the whole moment of sitting in my parents' basement and like my phone dinged and it was like, holy shit, the Jays are getting too low. It's crazy.
David Price.
My favorite player, David Price was good, was Kevin Pillar.
Yeah, he was
I
a fan
feel like
favorite.
he wasn't even that good, but he was just great field. Superman,
Yep.
right? Yeah. Terrible batter.
Oh, yeah, he couldn't hit.
Come back.
But he had that one clutch dinger. I think it was against Texas.
Yeah, he got on base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we don't have a guest. We'll work on it. Oh, it's a game day. Oh, we're going to do our Masters draft.
Yeah.
Oh,
We don't
yeah.
need a guest. We
So
got Jay, game day, Masters draft.
That's exciting. I know I'm picking my 6 picks.
Yeah?
Picking 6 plays, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
That's
6.
usually-
Well, are we not doing 6 picks snake
just
draft?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go around the horn.
Yeah.
Reese, have you studied yet? Okay, Reese says he's
Reese
okay,
said
video.
no.
All right. Okay, everyone in the YouTube, you were great. We'll be back tomorrow at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you then. Oil up.